call the meeting to order at 6:07 p.m. Roll call, everybody here. Mike Volpone.
David Dempsey.
Mark Sand.
David Brown.
Alicia Greco and Celine Maldani are both not in attendance tonight. Previous minutes. Did you get those out or not?
I did this morning.
I did not receive anything. I have not received anything. I think you may have my wrong email address in there, that's why.
I have nothing. Nothing.
I didn't get anything from Celine, didn't get anything from you.
Nope,
So.
got nothing from anybody. Last email I got was at 10:07 a.m.
Do you use MACV or MACY?
I don't remember.
Because that's where a lot of people do and they mix it up, so we'll talk about it after then. So we're going to table the minutes to next month to make sure we're all set. There are no correspondence because I didn't see any mail unless someone else got any.
Actually, you put some in her.
If you've got an email from it regarding it, I don't have anything.
The only thing that's in here is it's just the scheduling and the request from the Newbury Recreation Committee. That we field permit applications.
For
There's a bunch of them. This one here is for GPS North Shore. There's another one.
This is Celine's email?
Yeah, Celine's
okay.
email. This is from Triton Youth. It's on here. That's the two of them that I can see.
so no bills or claims, just
But she
schedule.
had one bill, Byfield Water, which she was going to pay.
Okay.
Yeah, she listed that.
Again, I didn't see it, so I have no idea what you.
Yeah, it says here, we just have one bill from Byfield Water for $36.07. I'll go ahead and pay it.
Okay.
And then it says Springfield Reservation, see attached documents. Do you want me to send you this?
Please.
Yeah. I'll send it. Dave, I'll send you, Joe.
Awesome.
So you know I can get it. Tracy was nice enough to get back to me today with responses to the email the other day.
Should have got it.
I may have to go online to, for some reason, my mailbox is not picking up.
Not me yet. Give us a second to get here, just make sure we can.
Here's what I have. For you, I have MACY 21.
MACV 21. That's why I didn't get it. That's what everybody keeps doing. Old business. Keys and motion sensor inside. This is one thing I did not get with is Susan. I got to find out and get the keys back from Mariah because I haven't received a response back from her regarding when's a convenient time to meet with her. Did you all see the email I sent last week to the town administrator, Tracy?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
A lot of the next few things are going to be addressed in this, so we can, I'm just going to go through it real quick. Can the revolving, okay. The responses came back, it's a little question. So, can the revolving resources be used for the land at Kent Way? The document that guides the rec committee is chapter 35, Mark will send this to you again. Rec committee is chapter 35, revolving funds in the town's bylaws. I will scan this separately. It is generic in nature by only specifying field maintenance in capital and other expenses. It does not specify any particular field. So the answer to the question is yes, we probably can do it at that point. I asked, are we allowed to purchase items for the field house and cemetery, such as a refrigerator, freezer? Yes. Furniture for inside? Yes. Chain link fence around the field? Yes.
Point of clarification.
Yes.
Not chain link, but a chain fence.
Yeah, okay, well,
But
it's
Yeah.
so,
yeah.
the type of fence we have.
Good.
I had asked, since we've determined that our annual costs annually are $36,000 a year, leaving us about $14,000 for other projects or purchases. We want to examine what other means we could use for the remaining balance for programming for the town of Newbury. No amount of the remaining balance may be used for programming, see bylaw. That does not prohibit the committee from changing the bylaw and adding a revolving fund for programming, i.e. yoga, summer recreation. You would charge a fee for these programs, which would be deposited into a separate revolving fund, and related expenses would be charged accordingly, like we do the other programs. I did ask a follow-up to her to say, if we did not want to charge for it, are we allowed? And that's the response I'm waiting to get back from.
Okay.
Such as the yoga, where we wanted to pay for that program because it's for residents in the town, and we thought it would be applying it the right way. I'll update everybody on that one next month when I get it, or when I get the email, I'll forward it out to everybody. As we have presented before, we would like to acquire the funds either through the town or through the fundraising sponsored donations to field a 6-hoop basketball court, also be located at Central Fields near the field house. Other programming or ways to use our funds to help the town are, this will likely require a capital investment from the town as well. Do you wish to see this appear at the spring town meeting warrant? As much as I would like to, I don't think we have a chance on God's green earth of getting it through right now. And that was kind of said, we all kind of agreed upon that last month, so.
Yeah.
I was just adding it, as we talked about, to see if we could get something there.
I was wondering, should we, well, I know we're not gonna get it through, should we put it through anyway? Should we try to get it on the, or is that, do you think they're just gonna?
If I'm gonna put it on the warrant, I'm gonna have to do it like right away. We just take last year's proposal and redo it again and see if we can get people to do it. I mean, the crazy thing is they approved the funds, they transferred funds out through the various pieces. All the money that was being asked for was about $300,000. They allocated the full $300,000. Everything got approved but ours.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, we certainly can, but we need to come to an agreement tonight between the 4 of us. Do we want to take a chance and see if it works? We have the presentation already done. We can fine tooth and discuss saying we already think we have about 9,000 from one group. Another citizen has offered to pledge 10. So what we're asking for is now down, and that's not to say we can try to raise some more money, but we wanted to see what this could be done. And all we're asking for is whatever we don't receive from donations, sponsorships, whatever we finalize with legal, the balance will be paid for by the town.
Do you know what's going to be on the town warrant?
I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't.
Because if they're going to try to do the town hall money, then we don't have a chance. So maybe that's something we should look at. It just.
Well, let me ask this then. Am I okay to submit it to the warrant? I'll ask Alicia, because she'll know from the board. If they are not doing it, I would recommend us doing it.
Yep.
If they are doing it, I won't submit it.
Yep.
Do we need to have a 6-basket setup? Can we reduce our costs? The surface area is going to stay the same. Do we need to have 6 baskets right now and start off with 2, and then if there's enough use, come back and get more?
It's only like a $4,000 difference.
That's what I'm saying. If you're spending 120, what's $4,000 at that point, or whatever the number, 105 I think is what we had. So that's why the money from the youth basketball would cover the 6 courts and possibly the fencing.
Yep.
And it was like, all right, the rest is the majority of it's just going to be the court itself and getting it done. So
because we can get the fencing done through our regular budget. We don't have to do. We don't have to include the fencing.
Yeah, so we can now do that if we want to, based on that, based on the email we received. So I will email everybody and ask Alicia the question. And when she comes back with it, if she says yes, they're doing the town, we will not submit it. If they are not doing any major capital projects, then I will submit it to Tracy. I'm going to have to do this the next day or 2.
So if we submit it, even if they are doing the town, what's the downside of it? At least if we continue to submit it, they know that it's still on the table and it's still a HUD item that we're looking to do.
What I was told was that 3's a charm. That typically the first time you don't get it, the second time you don't, the third time you end up getting it. So that's why if we keep it visible.
Right. And to me, we all probably know it's going to be a quick no, but we also send the message that, you know, that this is a continuation, we're not going away.
Yeah.
We're really going to
Do we
continue
need
to
to
push
go
forward.
to capital planning first?
I don't know,
It's
that's,
gonna be a major acquisition to get their sign off before it goes to finance, before it goes to the Board of Selectmen for the.
Well, the problem is, well, the last one is, they were split on the vote instead of going, I mean, if we did, the problem is now is, if we don't do this now, we won't, if we don't put it on it right now, give it the okay, it won't make it for next month. It has to, they have to
I
get so much time.
understand that,
Sorry.
but procedurally, I don't know if we don't help ourselves, if we do not go through, what I was told was the process for any capital improvement, you'd need to get the, capital committee has to make their recommendations to the finance committee, who would make their recommendation before it gets put on. I don't know.
We don't procedurally. Will it help our cause and help us with the town if we did something like that? Yes.
Okay.
Because we didn't have to last time, we didn't do it last time, and we started from the vote, we got mixed reviews both from finance and from the Board of Selectmen.
We did present before the capital campaign meeting. It was a 7 o'clock meeting.
Okay, 'cause it was-
Yes.
Yeah, if we did then, because they were on the fence, and so were the board, because neither one of them said they got a chance to really review it.
Right, part of it was the numbers that we presented to them included accessing our capital reserve, and not what was using our capital reserve, which we didn't have access to.
I'm actually texting Melissa right now to see if she can tell me so. She just thinks, all she's saying right now is bathrooms on the island, I believe. So it doesn't look like it's there.
Okay.
Why don't we, then I will, Tracy asked, do you want me to put it on the thing, and I'm gonna say yes.
absolutely.
And then we'll find out. Worst case, like you said, it's out there, it's something we're trying to do.
Yeah.
I think if we now go up there and talk about the fact that we now have some money we're raising and we are looking for other means, we will not exceed now 100, knowing that we have the potential for this, or even 90,000,
Yep.
if we want to say we won't go beyond 90 because we have the additional money to get us there.
Yep.
Lower the money, see, what we're saying, we're trying to cut costs, we're trying to find ways, and if we can do additional sponsorships, whatever, we'll certainly see if we can get it. All right.
So does have a vote on it? How do you?
That's going to new business. All right, let me finish this email, then we'll go back through and hit that. An outdoor ice rink that could be built and taken down each year for everyone to use. Current funds could be used for this. She told you no,
No.
but I'm being told yes in this email.
It's written, okay.
So I have it in writing.
Okay.
So as far as I'm concerned, where I said it could be something that could be used year after year,
When you talked to her, did you say was gonna be on the fields or at the library? Because that may be the same.
I did not say the difference, but I've got a feeling that probably is the difference. If I just said, she's thinking it's probably the fields, because actually,
And there's nothing wrong with us using the field. It just.
I referenced the fields the whole time, but we were just
Yeah.
trying to find some place that wasn't.
And they offered at the library, but it's still apples for apples, flat surface.
The reason, when we first looked at the fields, it was, the idea was creating a winter area where there'd be sledding,
Yep.
there'd be ice skating, cross-country trail,
Yep, yep.
all that good stuff, and have the field house open marginally. We wouldn't have to open
Yeah.
it all the time, like on weekends or whatever. The library had liked the idea down there, because then people, they're already being staffed.
Yeah.
They could be monitoring, if you will, the use.
Mhm.
So people can go to the library, then come in and warm up.
Yep.
They could sell hot chocolate, or just
Yep.
make it a package deal for the younger kids during the day. And then later afternoon, the older kids and adults can use it.
If we put it on the Central Street fields, would we hurt the field?
No.
Okay.
But the issue became, talking to the people who, like 4 people in town who have them installed, the biggest problem is the sun in later spring and in February. It's warmer weather, but the sun really does a number on it, melting the ice.
Mhm.
And then what you'd have to do is resurface it, which either the fire department or DPW have made indications that at that point in time when they asked, they would be willing to do. But the sun really beats on and compromises the integrity of the ice surface. So the recommendation is to get it in a more shaded area, so it lasts longer, and those warmer days, but the sun's fully out, it doesn't melt the ice.
Where can we do it then that's not, because if you do it in the middle of the Central City Fields, it's
If
wide
that-
open.
Again, that's one of the reasons why.
Not that this year would have been, this winter would have been a problem, but like if you even use it.
Anybody who has it knows, again, people I've talked to, it's a risk they take, but there's something nice they said about being able to go out with your kids on a December afternoon, December night, and skate.
Mhm.
The idea was to put it at the, what's that thing called? The baseball field, not just because of the library, but the rink they have up in, I think it's Southampton, over by Dearborn Park in Hamptons. They use the tennis courts, and they have it in a corner, so the supports are, the fencing is already there,
Mhm.
and it's a nice level surface. He doesn't get as much use out of it. Let me back up. They selected that spot because it was available, there's parking there, people sled there, that's where they do their bonfire.
Mhm.
He said this was just convenient.
They wouldn't be able to sled though at the library, there's nothing really there,
No.
so I'm not sure.
No, that's,
So that's
Yeah,
the trail, but the only thing is Central Street doesn't have, right now at least, doesn't have a fence to build up against either.
Yeah.
If we
Well,
put ours
doesn't-
in, then we can possibly use that as one side.
we don't, it's really hard to sled there anymore because they're not mowing the lower level. They're mowing the first third of the field, and then after that, they're letting it grow.
Oh, so they used to mow all the way down?
Somebody would mow
Oh, okay.
closer down.
Okay.
I don't know if it was before DPW got, they did it a couple of years when we first started,
Yeah.
but that's been cut back significantly, so
The
people.
the only thing with the library, and I know the library said that, kids can come in and get hot chocolate and get warm and everything, but when they start having kids tramping in and out of there with ice skates on, or taking their skates off and going in and coming out, that's gonna get old real quick. And here, you got a field house here that you can keep heated, keep warm, they can come in, they put their skate guards on, they can walk in and out on the cement floor, they're not gonna damage anything. I think it's just probably more practical. The other thing I think is, once it's here and it's purchased, if after the first year we think the library is a better spot, then we can come back to the town and say, can we reuse this now that we have it
Well,
at
we
the
bought it for
library?
the
instead?
field.
Exactly,
We can.
right.
The beauty about the baseball field is you do have the dugout right there.
Yep.
And the idea is people could put their skates on, take them off bench already,
Yeah.
Right,
close.
right, yep,
You're right there.
Yeah.
At one point in time, one of the DPW said that because they're already clearing the surface areas, they're already there with the snow blower.
yeah.
So they can create a path and empty out and clear up the field. So it would be easier than, easier.
All right,
They're already in place.
could you reach back out to
Yeah.
the person, the reason I'm saying is, now it's off-season, maybe we get a better deal.
Okay.
Because we're literally gonna take it and store it for the summer.
Yep.
We're buying off-season, maybe we can save some money. If you can bring that back to next month. That is the last response on the question, there was anything that you gave me. Because I asked to work with the Newport to develop a lifeguard program, no comment. Additional summer programming, no comment, and there on out. So what I will do is, knowing that we know it is now, I will, actually I'll do this right now, just so everybody has it. And Mark, you'll be able to add this to the meeting, so I just forward that to everybody so they can see it. I'll email back to Tracy and say, yes, please add this to the warrant, and suggest we're only looking for, all right, I make a motion to add the basketball court to the town's warrant in the sum of $90,000.
Second.
Any discussion? Now we can go over it. The reason I said 90 is because we were looking for like 105, I think, the last time.
Yep.
And if we got that 19, hopefully still, maybe that at least we're showing we're trying to make it down and
Okay.
explain to everybody, this is the most we're asking for. We're gonna try to work to try to get this lower through other means.
Yep.
But we will not spend any more than that. And then we have to send an RFP to see what it is and find out what they'll do.
Yeah, because I keep getting emails from the company all the time from this, still thinking about doing that hoop, you still thinking about doing the hoop, so,
Yeah,
perfect.
okay.
So again, just to confirm, I believe that we need to go through capital planning for their input. Before we should be, before it gets moved forward?
If we did, check real quick to see when their next meeting is, if we can get on their agenda, while still moving forward with this. It says capital planning. HR. I'm just trying to see if they have, there's anything. Capital planning's next meeting is the 19th. So we got on their agenda for that meeting. Put it on the warrant, but also get this to them ahead of time so we can do both.
Yep. I don't mind going.
I can't because I've got to work that early, but
I might.
Mark, do you mind reaching out to, is it Marshall?
I can ask to be put on, I don't know if I can attend.
Well, as long as we get saying the rec committee would like to do it,
Yeah.
are you able to, or you opening by then?
What's the date?
Ooh,
March 19th, 7 a.m.
What day is that?
It's Thursday.
yeah, I'm leaving Friday for London, so.
I'll actually be in Tennessee that week. I fly home that day.
I can,
I can probably do it.
Yeah.
I'm leaving.
Well, let's get on the agenda first and we can figure out
I
who
We
can
just
do
need,
it.
we just need to make sure we have someone there, because we're gonna ask. We just wanna go over and make sure there's any questions.
let's put it in there, and then if, we'll figure out who has to get it. If
Yeah.
I have to get out of there, I can get out of there, just get to that meeting on that day.
I mean, see if we can get us on early, so worst case, you're either first or last, whatever works out better.
Right.
Saying, hey, I mean, I don't know how long their meetings usually run.
They're the first thing in the morning, I think.
First
7 a.m.
thing, if they meet the quorum, it depends on how much, I've been to enough of the meetings. Not every meeting is held because of the quorum, depends on
Oh, really? Okay.
if they don't have it, somebody can't make it at 7, they can't. But they're good at rescheduling or making things happen.
Okay. Okay, so, the motion is right now, we are going to propose, we're gonna ask to be added to the warrant for a sum of $90,000 with the contingency that we go attend the capital planning meeting on March 19th and discuss it with them. Hopefully they have quorum so we can have it at that point, but that's the plan.
Well, I got my calendar, March 19th. And
Any other questions, comments, or anything before we vote on this?
Well, I would just say contingent on meeting with capital planning, whenever that meeting
Yeah.
is, and not go
Yeah.
through.
Well, I'm saying, we meet them on the 19th. Actually, I don't even know, do we know what day the town meeting is? Town meeting's usually on annual town meeting is the 28th of April. So there is a chance we could almost, because the other capital planning meeting hasn't been listed yet. They have the one meeting and that's it for until before that. So hopefully we have a chance of getting on one of their two meetings.
When does this need to be?
I'm gonna need to get this in pretty quick, because she wants it out, she keeps asking about it. I'll have to find out a date, but I'm gonna hopefully submit it to her in the next day or two. I'm gonna tell her to add it, in worst case, if we have to, if the meeting decide to pull it, we pull it.
Well, I just know at what point it goes to the printer and.
Yeah, I'll ask Tracy that tomorrow.
what time is that capital planning meeting?
7 a.m.
7 a.m.
Right here.
I'm gonna put it in here, so.
7 a.m. on what day?
March,
19th.
Thursday, March 19th.
Yeah, March 19th.
The online calendar, I think Celine was gonna follow up that with Susan. I don't know if anybody's heard anything back yet.
I think it was in her email. Calendar updates, you note from Susan, which is there's no change in status. I hope you'll be able to delve into it this more deeply in 2 or 3 weeks.
The spending operating plan, we've already talked about from the email that came from Tracy, that we have some options now. So with the $14,000 that we have left,
I say there's two separate issues. One is allocating monies that have been already appropriated to us for this year, and then providing the town administrator with a proposed spending plan for next year. And part of the questions that was asked before was, can we create, she said we can change the bylaws with the presumption that we charge everybody for stuff. What is the process if we want to offer services for our constituents at no cost?
yeah. Like I said, right now, of the $50,000 we have, 14's left, that's towards program, and then as we talked about before.
That's for
Field
durable and consumable goods.
Yes.
It's not for program. The question I'm asking for FY 201 is, how do we get funding for programming that doesn't require us to charge people funds for?
Well,
Does it
it's
have to be
changed.
self-sustaining, I guess the question is.
Well, she said during an email that we can change the bylaws. No amount of the remaining balance may be used for programming. This does not prevent the committee from changing the bylaw and adding a revolving fund for programming.
But then if you read further onto that, it says you charge the people and that would go back into the revolving
Yeah.
fund. What I'm asking for is clarity on what if we don't want to charge somebody.
That's the email I sent back to her today to find out. Once I get that, I can say yes or no.
So we still need to, first, the budget issue is in a very short period of time, perhaps by next meeting, determine how we want to allocate the remaining resources appropriated for this year, and then come up with a plan for next year. So then, and Dave, you know this from your time in various places.
Yeah.
You sort of come in with a plan, so we're not
Turn at the top of her head.
well, no, it's that you'd have already allocated most of your monies before the season even starts, so you know where it's going.
Mm-hmm.
There might be some minor changes, but you know.
There was a contingency in the piece at the end, so in case you do need it for something like that.
Generally, you know, you should.
I mean, you're in the ballpark, but you always leave 10% behind just in case you need it for something, so. Town employee for contacts for website and scheduling updates. Again, I think that was part of Celine's or Alicia's.
So Celine did send out an email this morning?
Yes.
2 o'clock today.
2:03.
Did you get it? I sent it to you, David?
Is that what it is that
Yeah.
you sent me? Oh, okay, great.
Yeah,
I
that's
did
it.
not get it. So, I see it, yeah.
Yeah, she didn't reference anything in here about that, so we may have to
No.
clarify that. Concerns of animals on the field. I'll be honest with you, I drove by yesterday and saw a family walking a dog with a frisbee right in the middle of the field, and I'm just like,
The sign list guidelines. That's all. There's no laws preventing people from putting their animals on the field. The town, except for Plum Island, to the best of my knowledge and research, does not have a leash law that prevents people from walking their dogs.
Yeah, Plum Island doesn't have a leash law
But you have that period of time where,
either. On the beach.
on the beach,
Yep.
at this time of the year, you cannot have.
You can't have dogs on it at all.
That's the only
Yep.
thing. The closest thing I found was, I forgot the section, but the animal control officer can ask people to rein their dogs in on public spaces such as schools, beaches, open fields. My suggestion would be, and like it was on Plum Island, the majority of pet owners are good people, and they take care of it. All it takes is that one person who brings their pack of dogs down and lets it down. Over by Cashman Park next to the ball fields, now granted, Newburyport has Hooper laws as well as a leash law. And they have three different signs. One alerting people to the dangers of letting dogs defecate and leaving it there. One is no dogs allowed, please take notice, where police can, so you're aware that you can receive a fine for having your dog in a field. And one, a simple one, that says no dogs allowed, with this dog with a circle through it. That might be a means in which we can try to further educate people that, particularly in season, having pets there is not ideal.
But I think even the law on Plum Island, it's not accompanied by a fine. The way that it was explained to me is that if the police are called, or or police catches you with the dog on the beach when it's not supposed to be there, then they notify the dog officer. And the dog officer can, after a warning, will send a warning to you. After that, if it happens again, your dog will be recognized as a nuisance. And then it's required to be kept on a leash at all times.
Okay.
That's the way I think it works over there.
Okay.
Was Alicia gonna look into this? I don't know if I'm misremembering that, but I thought that she was
I
gonna.
haven't seen the minutes, so I can't remember what happened last,
Okay.
if she was the one or not. I thought she was.
I would concur with that, yeah.
Because she would have, what we can and what we can't do.
All right, so we need to follow back with her on this.
Yeah, I haven't been by the field, just because I didn't want to see people playing on it, because it's pretty mucky out there, so.
Next one we have on the list is can funds be applied to this location? The answer is yes, so we can start thinking about what we want to do there.
Yeah, I saw a nice aerial picture of that, and you could see the size of it. It's covered over with brush now, but you get a picture of, it's the first time I looked at it, I was like, oh wow, that's a good size plot.
Yeah. Kent Way, look. About 9 years ago, an individual affiliated with the baseball program made proposals. They did the environmental studies, they had site plans drawn up, received, I forgot how far they got into the permitting, it just became a money issue. Put 2 ball fields and a basketball court, and I believe a small stand back there with parking.
Is that back here?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So if you see the camera. We're in this building right there. We're right there.
Yeah.
So that's Kent Way. It swings around there. But you can see, there's the ballpark, and that's the property right there, that area. So I think that this is Zenny bought that place right there. So I think that's his land, but I think that square is ours.
So we'd have to spend money clearing it and doing all the work and stuff before we can even use it there, correct?
Well, the idea, it depends on what we want to do with it. The order of conditions for working in that area lasts for 3 years and can be extended. We don't necessarily have to do that plan. The town administrator had indicated, particularly with the new fiscal year coming in, there'd be money from her office that would be able to help do some of the planning.
Okay.
One idea, I think, would be a simpler one, is again utilizing our Department of Public Works in their off-season. They can initiate the clearing of the property. Unlike the playing fields up here and the playing field that is next to the Martha Pearson Field, it doesn't need to be irrigated. We can go as far as dig down, put a special drainage system in and go the whole 9 yards, or we can leave it as a cleared field and with a nice grass surface, outline one ball field, parking, and an empty field for somebody if they can't use the fields up at Mantor because we spend a lot of money to take care of them.
Mm-hmm.
The programs, Triton Youth Soccer, Triton Youth Lacrosse, whomever, can have a spare field that can get chewed up and we can repair it as we go along and not worry about it. The other advantage to Kent Way is if we can add additional parking. One of the biggest problems on the weekends, particularly the Saturday games, is, and it's a good problem. We have a lot of kids interested in baseball. The parking for the games sometimes interfere with use of the library.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea is if we were to start off by clearing a lot, putting in X number of parking spots, and say, baseball, this is for you, or anybody could use it, but try to get your people to park there, work with the library in town and whatever hoops we have to go through. This row of spots are for library use only during those periods. And then if there's a need, we can work with baseball and put another field in there. Right now, they have to rent space at like a couple different spots because their program has been so successful.
Mm-hmm.
And it might be nice for them to be able to have 2 games in one spot at the younger levels so that you're not playing one at the upper green and then you have to take your next other kid way over here across town. But put 2 here and just kind of give them space as opposed to having to.
So your thought is to do a baseball field and then an open field for soccer, whatever, you know?
At the present time, and parking.
Yeah.
I guess my biggest, what I'm proposing is let's utilize that space.
Yeah.
You know, right now it's not, and it will take probably 3-4 years to get it through. Again, years ago, talking to people who do that for a living, DPW, accessing their tools and their time, we could clear it off pretty cheap. I don't know if they have their own chipper, but we could rent them a chipper.
Yeah, no, I think they have everything.
Yeah, so there's a lot of the back load, take the stumps out, clear it out, and voila. There's parking year 3, year 2. Year 3, you lay out a baseball course.
So how long, the thing I'm thinking of is how could we possibly use that land almost immediately? I know over in Amesbury, they have one of those frisbee golf course, you know, those almost
Like we have out in Central
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, but this, what's nice about a place like that is it winds through the woods and the trees and things like that, so, I mean, that's almost something that you could put in there almost, you know, to just utilize that space, and open it up for something like that, so that it can be being used, while we're putting this plan through instead of just letting it sit there.
Yeah, I think the thing is to be able to have the engineering plan, so we have, you know, road going in, and then significant parking area where parking's gonna be forever. And have that lined up so that it goes, we can break right into the field for the baseball field, so that we got parking for the baseball, they have a walkway to go to the, and so that's step 1. Would you agree?
In my mental model, and again, I'm not married to this, but I talked to a few people, the idea is we're not gonna have a lot of funds annually to contribute to it. So the first step is to clear it. The idea, I like the idea of trying to bring the disc golf in. I've worked with a number of people who designed the Amesbury, the one in Topsfield and whatnot.
Yep.
The one we have up here is not maintained, there's a lot of problems with it. 9 holes is more like a beginner's course. People want to see the 18 if you're going to have tournaments or leagues. I wish we could, with the gate closed off there, there's some reconfiguration if we want to reconfigure that field, and we have a couple people who'd be willing to do that, to utilize up there. Down here, it's gonna be smaller in the area. I think it's only a total of 5 acres, but we wanna make sure that there's 2 houses back there, adequate buffer zone so that they're not abutting next to the parking lot. That would not be considered. But the idea is just to clear it, because that way we can have the fields. Now, if we were to move on it, there's no reason, in my estimation, that we can't work with DPW for this upcoming fall to start the process. I mean, it actually be 2 falls away, because we need to get the permit to get the vehicles in.
My concern is that where do we put this in priority with the basketball courts? Because if we're looking and saying, okay, I'm talking for funding now, not for so much for, you know, practicality of having the town do the clearing, the actual funding. If we're looking and saying, okay, it's gonna probably take us 2 years to really realistically get a basketball court in place, then we look to funding after that. That project could be 6 years.
That's, again, utilizing town existing resources, it's clearing and leveling.
And it doesn't cost us anything.
Doesn't cost anything.
Because the town manager or Tracy said that I think that they would fund the engineering portion of it.
Yep.
But
you know yourself, if you know, Dave, you clear a lot, and you wait 3 years, 3 years later, you gotta clear it again.
Well,
you know,
it's year 1, it's cleared, and we level, and we throw seed down, done. Parking lot's over here, we can go as simple as a mud parking lot,
or gravel or anything.
like gravel, whatever we want, it's done.
Okay,
Now it's maintained, they're mowing it regularly.
Oh, all right, okay. So when you say cleared and it's cleared and surfaced with a grass surface and topsoil and seeded and being taken care of. Okay.
And looking at our current budget, we should be able to finance that.
Yeah. I just thought, I'm visualizing, come in and clear it and say, okay, we'll be back next year or next year after that, and all of a sudden you come back 2 years later and you're looking around saying, here we go again, you know?
My experience has been if you do that, you end up getting the ruts, which create the puddles, which create this vegetation that looks like it's a wetland, and all of a sudden
it just turns into a
everything
mess.
goes quagmire.
Okay, yeah.
All right, I'm going back through, I was trying to read back to Celine's email as well, because she had mentioned the applications for the programs for the 3 need to be approved tonight, because we need to get them in place, and I'm looking, there was nothing here, and it looks like the first one was done by person still, and I'm trying to figure out how to do it. There's something here for conflict of interest law for your municipal employees, sign off. What was that about? I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank.
Last meeting, you brought a packet in that every year we as volunteers need to sign off through the town clerk.
It's really municipal employees that do that.
Yoga field applications are the next thing.
Okay, yoga. I had met with Chris Howe, who proposed to us. She and I worked out a plan, if we want to go through with it, where she could offer the services at the field house, and she was going to look at reaching out to the fire department and police department chiefs to determine a level of interest, to offer yoga for first responders. She's certified in a couple of different techniques, strategies to work with vets and first responders. Love to do it at the field house because it's an open space, it's visible space, where we talked about where we as a rec committee could be offering for free, so we're not collecting any money. She's not asking for any money. Over the course of summer, again, I left it with her to seek interest from the local police department, fire department, and also consider if we wanted to extend it to ensure there's adequate numbers. If you want to do an aerial training, or what would you call it, a regional training, and bring it into either Newburyport, Georgetown, or some of these other towns, So you have adequate numbers. It's really hard to do some of these groups with 2 people. Or even the Coast Guard, who, again, first responders. Something to say here, the town is offering this to our first responders and community because they value it. There is a way, while the MIIA, the insurance company that the town uses, has their own yoga program, there, in which, depending on how much involvement town employees have, actually reduce our payments. If you keep your employees healthy by doing different things, we're going to reduce your premiums. So once I have I'll contact Ms. Howell again and see what the level of interest is, and perhaps the next meeting we can have a proposal on the table. And I'll send it out, try to send it out early, maybe even to the town administrator, to ensure that there are any programmatic issues. Again, it's something she could do at the police department, fire department here in Byfield, or at the library. So it doesn't have to be us, but she likes the space because it's nice and open.
I apologize, I'm trying to do math in the background here to try to get this, all these applications up, but.
Can I make a suggestion with the
Yeah.
application? From my reading of the document that we passed and approved by the Board of Selectmen, we can issue a temporary permit. So we don't need to kill ourselves tonight.
I'm just trying to get an idea, but if that's the case, yes, if that could be done, that would be a better thing right now.
And
Because they both right now, I just tried to do soccer, and they base theirs off of a per person instead of a, but I'll be honest with you, the difference in costs, they had sent us a check for $29.05 for 83 people. The difference is they're paying an additional $119. That's the only difference it was, based on the hours that they're looking at. The problem is they're asking for fields 3 and 4, and so is GPS. So it's almost like, is there a difference between 1 and 2 and 3 and 4? I don't think there is.
no, 1 through 4 are all the same price. It's only 5 that's different.
No, but there's no different size or anything, so.
Well, there is a difference.
Okay, so that's the question.
Significant difference.
GPS is asking for fields 3 and 4, and so is it soccer.
I was under the impression that they've already worked that out.
If they have, then that's,
Yeah, have you looked at GPS's?
I'm looking at the sheet right here, the application. Because there's an application that started in, and then Celine said, Stefano updated usage hours for each field, please revise. And he's got field 3, the hours he's looking for, then he has field 5B, which youth soccer's got the same time, they're looking for 9 hours on field A. I mean, we could work around one of them, and one has A and one has B, but on Saturdays.
They've already worked this out, and I believe they sent information to the assistant tax collector to clarify that.
Well, this is from Lindsay. Lindsay sent this over.
What I'm saying is, they are aware that there was a conflict, and I think this was 2 meetings ago, or maybe last meeting, that it was, I think it was 2 meetings ago, that it was brought up by Celine, that there was a conflict with field 4. And if you look at the schedule, it was my understanding that Stefano and Jason had worked it out and were resubmitting new information. Because I look at this sheet from Stefano, he doesn't have 4 on this, on field 4, except on...
It's almost like 1 and 2 are going to lacrosse, based on the sheet that I have here.
Yeah, that's what
3, 4, and 5 are being divvied up between the soccer programs.
Right. And the question became, and it has been, field 4. That's where there was the conflict.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the sheets here, because it's 4.
These are all, yes. Are you looking at this sheet?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And it says field 4, all this is blacked out, which from what I'm reading it, he's not using it.
Yeah. So he's looking for 3. Youth soccer is gonna use, right now, youth soccer is using 4 almost exclusively during the
Yes.
week and the weekend, so.
Yes. and
But
you-
they do have field 3, youth soccer is got time down for Saturday,
Yeah,
from
From
8 to 5.
8 to 5. And does GPS have field 3 at that time? On Saturdays?
Yes, same time. Youth soccer has their application showing from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. every week on field,
Okay.
on field 4, field 3 and field 4, and 5 and 5A. So all 4 fields they have on Saturday, they have listed 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And I go down to
And
the
did,
one with the blacked out area from Stefano and GPS. They have field 4, which I'm gonna say, they're using one of them, but both fields, and they have Saturday from 1 to 2:30 and 4 to 5:30 for 3 hours on Saturday. So we're gonna have a conflict in those 3 hours there.
But if you look at that first application, GPS,
Yep.
it says here that for field 3, the only day they're got it in here listed to use is Sunday.
Yep, but then he sent a revised version below it
Yeah,
that was sent Wednesday. Stefano updated usage hours for each field, please revise. And I'm looking at field 3, so again, say youth soccer's using 4,
yeah,
but youth soccer has both field 3 and 4 booked on Saturday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. to
Right.
5 p.m.
yeah,
Which means that field is theirs. GPS doesn't have access to it on Saturday, but according to his list, he's listening here for 3 hours on Saturday,
right.
on every Saturday.
what field are we talking about?
Either 3 or 4, your call.
Well,
Because whatever
Let's
one they
just-
agree
let's-
to, but,
let's look at field 3.
yep.
I'm looking at the GPS.
Don't look at that one, only look at the one with the blacked out area. Because that's the revised one below. That's what it looks like, don't use it.
Well, for field 3, he's looking, so, all right, we'll go there. He's not using field 3 on Sundays at all.
Nobody's using it on Saturday from
Okay.
3 hours.
All I'm asking is I'm trying to understand it.
The only day of conflict is Saturday, period. The rest of the week is fine.
Okay.
They both have Saturday booked for both fields, so they can't do it. So someone's out those hours, and really, as much as I love to have the money, the rule is youth soccer gets it first. So Stefano's gonna have, I'll let Stefano know, based on the schedule I have here. I wanna take this and put this into one thing, so we can ensure who's got what,
Yeah.
and say, here's for week 1, and then work out and multiply it down so we can figure out. So I can say, who's got what hours, and make sure we've got it. It's a matter of just throwing into a spreadsheet and then making sure we have, we can color code it and add up the hours and stuff.
Well, that'll also show conflicts too. It'll be right.
Well, that's the thing, I'm gonna put red areas on those on the Saturdays, because 1 and 2 is lacrosse.
Yep,
Right now, it looks like GPS has got 3, even though youth soccer put in for, their big day is 4. It's just they've got field 3 booked from 8 to 5 on Saturday, and it conflicts with GPS's Saturday time. So I will put together a quick schedule, because I know Susan's backed up on hers. And I'll put a spreadsheet together, and I'll send it out to the group to make sure I'm not missing something, and then we'll get it, and I'll copy both Jason and Stefano on the email, and whoever the contact is now for lacrosse. Rick Wallwork. Even though he doesn't have, I don't have an email for him, so I'm not sure. So I'm gonna check all the hours, make sure they all add up. But I would say right now, we give them a temporary permit for the beginning of the season, based on, until I can get the numbers together for them.
Is this
So
permit
is-
application, is this an old permit application that they're using, that still has the number of participants times 35 times 50, because that's what I'm looking at.
Yes,
for-
you're correct.
Yeah, so
So,
they did it by participants instead of by.
but where'd they get that? Is that is that something we have online, or where did that come from?
Let me check online and see what we have quick.
Nothing's
Because I'm
online.
looking down the
That
bottom.
has never been submitted.
So
I sent the updates to Susan to get them updated. It hasn't been done then.
so that's what I'm just wondering, because that's what they're looking at it. Well, they haven't changed it because it's
Yeah.
still 35 and 50.
No, but we notified them that they were changing their
Yeah,
contract.
no.
Because lacrosse has 692 hours total at $6 per hour, not using Memorial Day.
Yep, yeah, I saw that.
So I will go back through and I will literally do one for each week.
Yep.
Because once I have the first one done, it's just a matter
Just
of
fill them in.
crossing out a couple of days here and there, but then we could say, here's what it is for each week, so you know what it is, times the weeks, and we can have it done. This is, I want to make sure I have everybody's stuff set, but I would say we approve a temporary permit for the 3 organizations. Depending how we handle the one Saturday conflict, or the Saturday conflict on field 3 or 4.
So do we approve the permit and notify them that there's a conflict on that time and hope that they work it out and can get together and work it out prior
I
to
will do that
time?
when I send the thing together and get it
Okay.
out to them, but
All right.
either I can send an email to Jason and to Stefan to say, based on both applications we have, we show you have a conflict either on field 3 or 4, because GPS is asked for field 3.
Right.
Triton Youth Soccer is asked for 3 and 4
Right.
on the Saturdays, only conflict we have.
Okay,
And I'm gonna go back through and say, here's base that we have. I'm presuming where, like I said, Triton Youth Soccer is asking for 4,
yeah,
GPS is asking for 3, they're splitting 5, and then 1 and 2 goes to lacrosse.
right, okay.
Actually, I didn't even look to see if field 5 is gonna be an issue for them as well. No, field 5, the only day they're asking for is on Wednesdays, so that will not be an issue. Oh, it's funny, take that back, I just went down a couple of weeks on GPS, and they're asking for field 4, so their main one's 3, they're asking for field 4 from 5 to 7:30
Right, on
Wednesdays,
But
which
they're-
conflicts with Triton Youth Soccer, so we have more of a conflict here.
But they're also giving up the Saturday, if you look on field 3, from what I can see here, after the week of the 17th, there's no more, you know what I'm saying?
No, I'm seeing it all here. There's 17, they didn't change the dates.
Right.
So we have 17, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 13, 14, 15, they didn't change the dates in the end. They
Right.
stopped using dates, so it's almost like,
Oh, okay,
I need to reach
so
out to Stefan and say, you need to update your list, and
all the dates are the same, you're right, so
Yeah,
each
and
week.
see, my looking at it, I think there might be an inadvertent Saturday for field 3, and it should be Sunday. I don't know.
which is fine, if that's the case, but in the first couple of weeks, it
Well,
shows,
can.
so we'll run it by, I'll reach out to both.
Yeah.
Just ask them to give me clarification on this, based on these attachments and the schedules you guys submitted in. One, we apologize that it's the old form, we're trying to get that done. It is the new pricing model, so we're doing it, because GPS paid for it that way. They submitted their bill based on $15 an hour. Lacrosse based theirs on $6. I'll let Jason know for the Triton Youth Soccer. Not that it makes that big a difference, it's $100, but it gives them an idea. And that's over the whole length of the season.
Yeah.
All right, so I will handle that piece with them after this. I'm gonna confirm, I'm gonna literally have a spreadsheet showing each week one to field, so they can say, these are the dates, and then a total at the end, so we can say on a spreadsheet with all the tabs for, they can make sure we're adding up right. All right.
It just seems odd for me that GPS would have a Saturday and no Sunday, unless he's doing his game someplace else.
I don't know, and that's the question, that's where Celine was saying, it doesn't look right, we need to talk about it. So, we're gonna grant the temporary,
Can I make a suggestion? Yes, grant the temporary, but can we ask Jason and Stefano to come to our next meeting, even if it's not a formal meeting on our part, but to sit down with 1, 2 of us or whatever, and just get it down, because having these emails go back and forth, I don't think it's clarifying anything. That we can sit down like you were proposing to do by yourself, but to make sure that they're there. Because if they send it and it's still wrong, we have to go back and redo it. Let's see if we can't get.
Well, the email's I'm very clear in the email, and everybody will be copied on it, just saying, we looked at the applications, based on the information, there's a conflict on dates and fields for Saturday and some other areas between 3 and 4. We need clarification of this, and we need it as soon as possible to get this done. Because right now, it looks like you guys, and if it comes down to that, we're going to, Triton Youth Soccer is going to get first shot at it. Because that's the way the policy runs. So, I will get that email out in the next couple of days and send it over. Hopefully not like last month where I thought I got it done and didn't. The sign update, where do we sit? Is that up? Is it not up? Do we know? Okay.
Yeah, I have no idea. I did not hear back from that. I think that was an Alicia thing too, but I could be wrong on that.
Which sign are we talking about?
It's just a sign update. So when I was doing it real quick, I thought it was the one they're talking about up front.
All right, sorry.
Which?
The one outside by the Central Street.
Yeah, the whole thing had come down. I was given the impression that we didn't have permission to do it. I had sent to the town administrator the vote and correspondence that we had with her regarding the signage. So I don't know why it came down. I had
Okay.
2 neighbors ask me about it, and I said, don't know.
Are you gonna email her, or do you want me to swing by? Or
If you can handle that or that one, I appreciate it.
I will. I'll swing by and talk to her tomorrow, if I get an appointment. If not, I'll try to do it this week.
Okay.
And I will send out what I find from that, get that email to you guys.
The last thing I have on the list here is feedback from the town administrator, which is what was based off the email that I got back from her, so we've done that. So, to recap real quickly, so we can make sure we're all clear. The keys and the motion sensor inside, I need to reach out back up with Mariah to set up a date to get her that information and get her keys back. The court at Central Street in Byfield, I'm going to email Susan. I've already actually emailed Tracy to ask her what's the last date to put it on it, saying we want to reach out to capital planning and try to make their meeting on 3/19. The online calendar, we need an update from Susan that Celine's working on. The operating, spending and operating plan, we're going to try to, for our next meeting, get an idea of what we can now, knowing what we can do, try to get an idea of what we can spend the balance of our money on, knowing that if we wanted to buy a fridge or a freezer or the furniture and all that stuff, we could do that out of the last $14,000 to equip that house.
Yep.
Also do the chain fence, am I using that the right term? Is it a chain fence or
Chain fence, yeah.
Okay, so we can do that and get an idea. If someone wants to check the prices on that, I don't know if we have to, and I'll have to actually, I'm gonna ask Tracy to find out what's the dollar amount before we need an RFP, if we have to go out.
It's for competitive bidding, we're way underneath it, like $50,000 for the fence.
Oh, okay, then, okay.
We've already done that. When they put it in last time, the quote from DPW was $5 a foot.
Yeah.
And their labor, so it's
Yeah.
very inexpensive. It's about the same distance as before.
Well, it's just made, if you figure, refrigerator, freezer, if you spend $1,000, and I'm using round numbers, if you use $1,000 on that, the furniture you spent another $1,000, $1,500, I don't know, depending, you want to get something that works, and how do we want to, we probably need to discuss it a little bit more, but get an idea to come back in next meeting, what we want to do, but a fridge and freezer, I mean, it's just getting something that's going to be economical, good, and hopefully something we can, and buy the repair plan with it, so in case anything happens over the next couple of years, we get something to cover ourselves. The furniture and then the fence, those are the 3 things, if we can get that under budget.
And the ice rink.
And the ice rink, if we can do all that under budget, we'll have used our funds for the balance of the year, or portion thereof, whatever, and decide what we can do with it, and then set up for next month, what we're doing. Town employee for contacts, I need an update for Celine and Susan on. Concern for animals, Alicia's gonna update us. Kent Way, We just need to come up with an idea of what we want to do in kind of a plan. I'm not as familiar with that one. If someone wants to take on that, I'd appreciate it. The yoga, Mark, you already checked on that, so we'll have to figure what we can do with it. We're gonna have to program, we're gonna have to probably do it next year, unless we can get funding for it, but right now we
We don't
can't.
we don't need any money for it. She's doing it for free. She's not charging anybody.
Okay, then we'll worry about that. I'll take it off the list.
It's just, it's a no, don't take it off the list, because we'd still need approval for her to access the building, and for us to, support, collaborate, however the relationship's gonna be.
All right, do you wanna touch base with Tracy on that, or do you want me to add it to the email I'm sending her,
About what?
of yoga?
I
If we're
will ask her.
Okay,
Yeah, because I'm gonna go tomorrow, or try to get tomorrow, and ask her about the Kent Way thing,
okay.
and if she can start on that.
The field applications, I'll get the email out to Stefano and to Jason as soon as possible, the conflict of hours and an idea, make sure we have the right amount of money. The sign update, you're gonna check with her on, and that's everything that I have on the agenda for today.
Okay, so you keep saying sign update, I'm thinking.
The sign
The
sign,
update,
yeah,
I'm like,
the sign
I'll
update.
bring the water.
That's the date when the sign's going up.
Yeah.
It's like,
Alright, so if we're going to new business, a couple, 2-3 meetings ago, I threw out for everybody a form taken very similar to what capital planning uses, so that we have documentation about what, why, how we are spending for any of the major funding. I'm not saying a refrigerator necessarily, but if we're doing programming, the fencing, whatever, so that we have documentation. It's very similar, I don't know if we want to look at it, vote on it next time. I don't know if it's a matter of just going forward, like with the fence, it'd be very, the chain, we could fill it out, get an estimate so that there's a document.
We have a paper trail. Okay.
You can
Do you
keep that.
have this in a Word document?
I do.
Send it to me and I'll make sure we have copies for the next meeting for everybody and
I
we'll
will
go
send it
through.
out to everybody.
Yeah,
yeah.
so but I'll make sure I literally come in with stuff, and if we have to write it out, we'll have it done and start knocking these things out. Okay. With that, anything else on your list, Mark? David and David?
No.
I make a motion to adjourn at 7:15. So I have a second.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Bye.
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned.
Aye.